is everyone, today welcome back to another video, and today we are back with another video, and today's video is definitely going to be something a little bit, interesting. So, as we all know, Valentine's Day is already here, and I thought to myself that, what sort of a little special Valentine's related video that I'm going to be making for today? And for that, I've actually decided to do a kind of like a little story time video for this channel. This one is definitely going to be a little bit, insane, or a little bit strange to note to self, but I thought of actually discussing something that I've actually wanted to discuss for quite some time now. Something, I don't know, it's just something a little bit silly that I thought of actually doing, and, yeah, that's really all I'm gonna really say right here. So today, ladies and gents, we are going to be discussing about my story on a very interesting topic that you may have noticed, or some of you may not notice at first, but yeah, let me just explain here. A while ago, while I was doing my channel, I was once a Newton fangirl, but then I basically turned myself into a multiverse fangirl, obviously. So, let me just explain here. That basically means that I basically have a ton of fictional crushes. Like, a lot. I can't really name as to every single one of them, but yeah, it certainly is pretty embarrassing to admit, but we have those things all to self here. As a hardcore fangirl, I thought that it would be pretty funny to actually come along here and actually explain some stories about how, or why, I basically have kind of a fictional crush on each of the characters that I have seen or have talked about before, but yeah, this is definitely going to be very embarrassing, but whatever, I'll bear the witness here. Anyways, let's get started on the video, shall we? Okay, so here is the first ever fictional crush that I think I have ever had. The one who basically started it all, and that is, of course, Newton Pud from Little Planet 3. Yeah, so this character right there, if you don't know the series all too well here, then you may not know this character by heart. But if you all know about Little Planet, then you definitely all knew about him, how he basically is one of the icons of the third game. Newton Pud is an ally, or slash antagonist of the story here. He basically is the first character that you interact in the game, and let me just say, his design is very unique. Like, I remember the time when I first saw his character, I don't know, I just felt a little bit of a soft side to him. Like, he's basically is super adorable. Like, I really love how he basically is a light bulb character that I don't really hardly see a lot of light bulb characters. So, he basically is the first one in my opinion. Like, I will say that he definitely is sort of like a screw-up. Like, he wants to be a inventor, but sometimes he doesn't really get much to be a professional or anything. Not to say he's bad or anything, he just messes up in some cases here. But yeah, it's just really hilarious that there are definitely a lot of hilarious scenes with him, and I just really enjoyed his character all too well here. But of course, he does have a side where he just, well, basically decides to become evil, and decided to get the bright idea to release the Titans from their chamber, and of course turn himself into evil Newton. So yeah, that's where basically the antagonist part comes in here. Throughout the game, he basically becomes the villain of the story here. Like, I don't know which I like best. Him when he is his normal side, or him when he's on his evil side. I think both of them, in my opinion, are just really good, in my opinion. But in the end, he did actually regain his conscience and decided to become good again after the third Titan basically emerged out of him and stuff. Okay, don't take that out of context, but you know what I mean. So, yeah, Newton definitely is the one that took the things all too well right here. Like, basically, he basically is one of the most iconic characters in the LP series, obviously for his design, his personality, and of course his voice. Of course, basically he is definitely voiced by Hugh Laurie, so that's pretty cool right there. I don't know what it is as to what I find attractive towards him, like either his design or the voice. it's always gotta be the voice that always piques my interest, because I don't know, sometimes it just happens. But yeah, I definitely do think that Newton is definitely adorable. Like, I didn't really have an obsession with him over this whole thing like I did before, but I still think that he's adorable in so many ways whatsoever here, and I do definitely find him as a comforting character. Newton Put is definitely the first one to actually be one of my crushes, obviously, in my fictional crushes history, but he's not the only one, since at that time after many years go by, there was another that caught my attention. Ah, yes, the smiling demon himself, Alastor from Hazbin Hotel. Obviously, everyone knows about this guy right there, the smiling, dear, demon, radio-loving man who basically stole the show of many cases, really. Back when the pilot was around, Alastor was introduced to the Charlie's Hotel, obviously trying to volunteer in the hotel for reasons that we don't even know at first, until, well, basically, well, we did get some little bits of motives of his character here. He's charismatic, he's pretty jolly, he's pretty sinister. In most cases here, he definitely is very odd around here, does actually hide something pretty disturbing given to his form and everything whatsoever here, putting on a very charming facade, but of course hides is a very dangerous demon underneath. Obviously, he's one of the most powerful demons ever in hell in this series alone, so obviously he means business. So yeah, the first impressions we see in him in the pilot is really excellent. Like, I really love the visuals, and I just love everything about it. The animation was super smooth back when the pilot was around, obviously. Like, Alastor, in my opinion, is very charming in so many ways here. I just love his voice, his performance, and everything. I just think he's a very fluid character. But then finally the series actually comes in here and we actually do get a more complex version of Alastor, of course. But I do feel like, in my opinion, that the series kind of toned it down him a little bit from the pilot, because I do notice some little bits of small errors that happened before, well, when the pilot was around here. Like, almost like he's like changed in most cases, really. But yeah, there are definitely some flaws that I do find in the character here, like how he basically sometimes swears, which I don't really particularly think he would actually swear, given that he's from the 1920s, and so it seems. I don't know, it's just my opinion, really. And also the time where basically people say that he's one of the strongest demons ever known to man, but basically he definitely got beaten a few times before. I mean, it definitely is revealed later in season 2 that his soul was basically owned by Rosie and whatnot here, but I guess that kind of probably means that Alastor is a fraud, so that's kind of maybe why that is. But besides from the flaws that he does have, I still enjoyed him, and I still think he's very lovely to this day right here. So yeah, Alastor definitely is my #1 character in the Hazbin Hotel series so far. So yeah, those are basically the two main crushes that I have had back then, before the whole thing basically spiraled out of control right here. Yeah, so basically, after a while, I basically gained more interests of characters from the time to time, really. Like, say, some honorable mentions, like, let's say, Black Hat from Villainous. I do like his animations of how he looks super cool right there. Basically, the embodiment of evilness and everything. Like, he's just basically, well, just, you know, everything that's super evil. Like, he doesn't really need to fight or do anything, knowing that he's basically all powerful and everything. Although I do wish that he would actually do more in the series alone, but I mean, he still is a really cool character, obviously. Stryker from Hell by Boss, obviously. When I first met Stryker, I didn't really think much to it here until I met his character. Like, for some weird reason, I basically groaned to this character. Like, maybe it's the voice performance of Norman, of all people, from The Walking Dead, probably. I do love his design, and I definitely do love his motive when he was first introduced and everything. In the later seasons, he later got voiced by Eddie Brasco because, well, Norman couldn't really come over here to basically do more voices because of the cost money, which is probably a downside to this matter here, but still, Striker's character is still entertaining, and I definitely did like his theme song, even though it was sung by other people in this matter here, but yeah. But also, the main part about him is all the sinister, kind of interesting scenes of him when he basically is seen in most certain scenes. Like, oh my lord, they're really trying in this matter here. Like, holy crap, man. Like, yeah, Striker is a pretty cool character right here, and I really do enjoy him whenever he's on screen and everything else here. Vex from Sackboy: A Big Adventure. Ah yes, another LPP villain that I've actually liked here. He basically decides on making something called the Topsy-Turver and wants to create chaos all around the whole entire craft world, the Imagisphere, and everything. His design is really, really neat. Like, it's basically a Jester doll thing, and his design is super iconic. Even though the spin-off itself is nothing much to write home about, I still really did admire how he basically has his motivations of how he is whenever he's on screen. It's always super cool. And also his voice. Don't forget about the voice. It's super nice. It's always gotta be that. Jax from The Amazing Digital Circus. Ah yes, the purple bunny bastard that we all know and love, really. He basically is from the Glitch series, of course, we already know that. Jax is supposed to be portrayed as the jerk character of the group here. When we first met him, I just thought he was very cute. I'm sure he's a douchebag and everything, but I just really love his performance made by Michael Kovac. Obviously, he did a really good job on the character, really. He's supposed to portray himself as to be the scumbag who loves to pull on tricks, likes danger and violence, etc., etc. And he's always super funny. It's like, I really just love his design and most of the jokes that he pulls off here. However, in the later episodes, I do actually feel a little bad for him because we actually got the answer as to why Jax obviously is the way he is. And it just makes me love him even more because, well, I mean, yes, he still denies and doesn't want anyone to get close to him. He still has his motivations to still try to help everyone else, even though he doesn't really say anything, because, well, he knew back then, when everyone else is around, they abstract because of different types of reasons, and obviously he knew that everyone else is a jerk and all of that. He doesn't want to get close to anyone because he's afraid that somebody else will be abstracted and he doesn't want to go through that again. At least that's what we thought, really. So, yeah, obviously, Jax over here is a tragic jerk character, but he really is everyone's is a tragic jerk character. Dr. Nefarious from the Ratchet & Clank. At first, when I first played Ripped Apart, I didn't really feel much about him. I thought he was your typical villain, because, well, typical villains, obviously. Until I actually decided to play most of the Ratchet & Clank games, and for some reason, I fell in love with him, because I just think that he is a really complex character than I thought. Maybe because I haven't really seen the series all too well here, but him just being on it is the best part of the series, really. He's one of the best Ratchet & Clank villains, alongside with the others that basically were one-sided villains. He was basically one of the recurring characters that everyone knows all too well here, and just his cranky expressions and everything, his motivations of trying to take over the world, but also turning aliens into robots is just ridiculous in most cases, really. He's just always so angry and everything whatsoever here. But there are definitely some motives of him that I actually do find really hilarious, but also really entertaining at the same time. Also, his butler is definitely one of the better parts of his character. Like, I just love their dynamic too much here. It's just so funny. Also, did I not mention that his counterpart is so freaking hot? Next, we have Strike from a very underrated indie series called Monkey Ranch. He basically is one of the main characters, obviously, alongside with his buddy named Beeps, who basically are bounty peepers, who basically just do transportations or something. Basically, just you do a bunch of work for the monies. Strike's character is that he's basically charismatic. He's basically more likely to be kind of a jerk-like character. He's basically abrasive in most cases here. Just basically does it for the action and doesn't really take a lot of things seriously, obviously. Like, okay, this might be a little bit of a surprise for everyone here, that given that not a lot of people really knows the series all too well as I do, his character is definitely really entertaining. Like, I love his Latino expressions, obviously. Like, I think they did a really good job with his characters and his animation styles and everything. And he's just a really funny guy, obviously. And all the action sequences that he does, obviously, is just really cool. Yeah, so Strike is definitely one of my favorite characters, obviously. And a type that I did not expect to like, but I just think that he's definitely fun to hang around. Threx from Osmosis Jones. Ah, yes, the villain from the movie all about cells and organisms. This one here is the villain from the movie Osmosis Jones, obviously the movie that Chris Rock basically starred in. Now, his character is that he's a virus who basically came from a rotten egg, and now he has the motivation to basically kill off Frank. So, obviously, he has to go on to this whole thing to basically try to find ways to obviously eliminate the body faster than any other virus because he wants to be in the medical books, as he says. So, Osmosis Jones and Trix obviously have to go and stop him. Now, this character, how do I say this? I never thought that I would actually take the liking of a virus, obviously. The thing that basically decides to kill off other cells, and this man has no right to be this fine. Like, how did they honestly make a cell this hot? Like, what were these people thinking? But yeah, I do love the voice performance by the dude that did the Matrix. That's really cool. And I definitely do like the design of him, which looks pretty freaky, but super really fantastic too. Obviously super groovy. And all the scenes when he does mean business actually is a lot serious, because you know that he definitely is a threat, which I do like, obviously, because we take some time to actually get to know him as a villain and whatnot. Just, oh my god. Almost every scene of him is just strangely sus at the moment here. I do think Threx is a very underrated villain, and I definitely do like him as a villain, but I do like him as an attractive, virus dude. Is that weird to say? I don't know, but this video is already weird. Ah, yes, here we go. Okay, now we're getting to the freaky stuff right there. Venom from the Marvel series. Venom, oh my goodness, where do I even say this matter here? Okay, now, if you're wondering as to who my favorite, Marvel characters are, well, obviously it has to be Rocket Raccoon and Venom for sure. Venom is a very interesting case here, because when I saw the Venom movies, I know they're bad or anything, but I still really enjoyed them to this day. Venom is definitely an interesting case when it comes to fictional crushes. I do not know why. If it's either the fact that he is buff, or that he has sharp teeth with a very long freaking tongue. Oh my god, bro. Who in their right minds decided this is a good idea for this matter here? God. This is one of the freakiest designs I've seen so far, really. But besides from that, he does have a very complex character, the character in the series, the Spider-Man series, of course. I do think that he's one of the best the Spider-Man villains known to man, really. I haven't really done a lot of like Marvel / Spider-Man content to not know most of it, but I do think that Venom does come off as a very complex character. Just a freaking symbiote who basically binded with a human, and obviously, well, goes around to eat people's brains or heads or whatnot here. You know, he can eat my head at any time here, I don't care. Mud from Gaslight District. Is it weird that I basically had fallen for a living corpse? Okay, well, listen. The animation on a Gaslight District is super creepy and super freaky. Mud is basically one of my favorites. I do like his voice, and I do like his design of how freakish it is, and there are definitely most parts that where it's just hilarious when he's around and this whatnot here. And, yeah, Gaslight District is definitely one of the freakiest animations from Glitch that I have seen, and, when Mud's in it, it's always a fantastic ride right there. Dr. Neo Cortex. Okay, listen, before you say anything, let me explain. This all started because of a Cadidorus video where he introduced me to Crash 4, so I decided to give it a look, and I instantly went involved with the lore of Crash Bandicoot. Cortex is a very decent villain, who basically has motivations that are far different from any other video game villains out there. His motivation, of course, first off, basically deciding to mutate animals from Australia, to basically wanting to conquer the world by the other villains that are basically trying to do it, such as one of them happens to be a flying mask. His motivations, of course, he just wanted peace. Like, he just wants to end the cycle of having to do all the villainies and having to start over from scratch because of Crash Bandicoot and everything whatsoever here. It was definitely hinted around in the earlier games, but at the same time, he can't get over on this matter here and just decides to still do villain stuff, even if he wants to give it a chance, really. He's a stubborn villain and everything. Above all, I don't really like most of his designs. I just think they look a little bit weird in most cases here. But yeah, Crash 4's design is definitely super peaked and oddly adorable. I don't know why, but it just looks so freaking adorable. Cortex is a pretty cool villain, and Crash 4's design of Cortex is extremely adorable. Now it is time for me to go over the characters from the same game. So first off, we're obviously going to be checking out my two favorite games, free-to-play games, of course. That is Cookie Run Kingdom and Zenless Zone Zero. But I'm going to be starting off with Cookie Run Kingdom. It's a very popular series all about cookies with magical powers and basically a lot of lore that apparently there's a lot of games that were put into. Yeah, I will say that if you are a fan of the series here, then it definitely is worth your time with the story, the characters, etc. There's just a lot to go over here, and I basically have recently played almost all of the games right there. First off, obviously, is the one that introduced me to basically having a crush on cookies. It happens to be this guy right there. Yep, this lovely little sailor right here, Captain Caviar Cookie. So the reason why I have a huge crush on him was because of his event right there. He was first introduced to me when the Dusk Gloom Sea event came around at the time like this. And, well, let me just say, I have never fallen for a cookie this entire time as I have seen the other cookies right there. But listen, I'm not weird or anything. I just, it just happened, alright? So, yeah, after doing the event thing and getting to know the character, Captain Caviar does definitely seem like a very complex character. Also, the fact that he is actually voiced by the same person who actually voiced Lee from the Walking Dead series, that Tell and Tell a game that was super popular and was super iconic. It was definitely the peak of the Walking Dead series, is actually really insane. So yeah, it got me thinking that if Lee basically reincarnated himself to now be a sailor cookie for the Cookie Run series, that would be a very interesting but a pretty cool story, honestly. I definitely do like his design of how they cleverly basically made his hair look like the caviar that we've seen in sushi dishes, and he basically also resembles a shark as well, which is actually a very neat touch. I do like his sharp teeth and his mustache. Definitely gives off his character right here. Captain Caviar definitely shows that he does actually care most of the stuff here. Obviously, basically, he just doesn't like certain things that the Republic does, really. And his heart basically belongs to the seas and always wants to help out whenever he can. He's shown to be adventurous, whimsical, and of course, very courageable. Oh, also, I just realized that technically he's supposed to be older, which, bro, do you see this man? How could you think that this man is over 50? Yeah, Captain Caviar is definitely my first Cookie Run crush, and I can't deny it. It just is. But that didn't really stop there, because there's another cookie that we go over which may surprise or may shock everyone else here, and that is Royal Margarine Cookie. Royal Margarine Cookie was introduced in one of the side stories, most notably the ones with the dragons. He was introduced to be what supposedly a dragon warrior seems like here, with his dragon, quote unquote, or as known, wyvern, Buttercream, who basically, well, comes across as this very charming fellow who basically loves to talk about how he's the most bravest of them all, having to fight almost anything with his lovely dragon steed. But in actuality, it's proof that he is actually a fraud and basically has lied about this whole thing here, and he never had once fought anything before. And, well, that basically later changed when he actually does experience on, well, having to fight something really big than himself. Now, you may say that, yeah, most of the people really don't like this character because of certain things, really. But even though he may be a fraud, at least he was honest about it, honestly. So, well, when he's drunk, that is. And now, his design does remind me so much of Gaston and Flynn Lighter altogether. But, you know what the good thing about his character design is? He looks like if Gaston really was a good guy, because he's not a scumbag or anything. He may come across as flirtatious, but he still means well and does actually learn the value lesson of what it means to be a true hero. And yeah, I definitely did enjoy that side of him, and oh my god, bro. Yeah, so, but yeah, the flirtation parts with him,
Wanna know what riding a dragon feels like?
Who thought of this? Like, oh my god. Majoran happens to be, unexpectedly, be my second crush of the cookies, obviously. So now we only have 2 more left, and now we go over to the star talker of the show, and that is Black Sapphire Cookie. Yep, so Black Sapphire Cookie is my 3rd crush right there. Now, also, Shadowbook is also a semi-crush because I do like his jester look and everything. Yeah, it was further hinted that I did actually do have a slight crush on him. I do like his story, and I do like his dark sides and everything whatsoever here, how it further explains his character and everything. But I do think Black Sapphire basically stole the show even more, because he reminds me so much of a certain somebody, obviously. I do like his voice performance, I do like his design, I definitely do like his interactions with Candy Apple Cookie. I think those are really funny. And yeah, Black Sapphire basically stole my heart when he enters the stage. Ah, yes, this charming, devilish fellow who loves to talk about how he basically is the grandest of them all. And it's funny that I mentioned it because he basically won the Husband of the Year event, which is absolutely hilarious, honestly. And also the whole New Year's event when he basically broke the 4th wall is priceless. Yeah, so Black Sapphire is definitely the best of the group right there. And yeah, Black Sapphire for win right here. And now for the last one we have here for the Cookie Run series crushes, and that would most notably be Charcoal Cookie, one of the recent characters that was made around the Silent Salt event. Charcoal Cookie is a new character who basically is like the caretaker of the whole gravesite, basically keeping track on the spirits and everything. The ability to actually contact the spirits is definitely a very neat touch right there. And also, there are definitely some parts when he actually does have like a 2-sided voice thing, where sometimes he he talks to everyone, but sometimes he doesn't, which is a pretty strange thing, but it's definitely mysterious in a good way. Charcoal Cookie definitely is an unexpected character, but I definitely did grow to love him, and I do definitely like most of the parts, really, and his voice is definitely sharp, but super soothing at the same time, really. It's like something to put people to sleep, almost. And also, his interactions with Onion Cookie is just super wholesome, and I just love that part right there. Like, it's just so unexpected, but it's just so cute. Okay, everybody, so those are all my Cookie Run crushes. Now it's time to go to another free-to-play game that I played. Of course, it's Zenless Zone Zero, and first starting off with the GOAT himself, Billy Kid. Billy's character design is definitely super memorable, and also his character does remind me so much of Deadpool, of how goofy and how silly he is. Like, he is full of action, but he's also full of silliness and everything. Yeah, so he basically is just something else. Like, I just love the little robot aesthetics that he's going through right there. He's just super chaotic, but also just a very sweet boy. And also being a Starlight fanboy is just everything, and it's just so adorable. Like, he's an adorable boy. Like what can I say, obviously. Now we have here the elegant more boys that we're going to be interacting in this matter here, and one of them happens to be Lycon. Now, not the strongest the crush I do have, besides from everyone else who do have a crush on him, but I do like his character. I do like how he basically is this butler who has rockets for feet that he uses mostly for kicks and everything. I do think that's an elegant choice for a weapon, and also his voice is definitely very soothing as well. I do find him very lovely, I will say here. Not something I would go crazy over, but somebody that I would just feel a little charmed to. Like, somebody that just like I would like to be respectful towards the man right there. He's definitely very lovely. Looks very beautiful in many ways whatsoever here. And now we have here another bro who basically was a friend of Lycon, but turned out to be an enemy, or a rival, or whatever the relationship is, like frenemies. And that would be Hugo. Hugo, my boy! Hugo over there is a dashing, lovely little vampire boy. He basically is this skinny, menacing, silly boy who basically is just this little bit of a trickster. Whole thing with the whole mockingbird, and, well, his just, oh my goodness, like, how in the world did I fall in love with this skinny little boy right there, who basically has the voice of a very snarky, dramatic drama boy right here, who basically would like to make fun of me for, like, the clothes that I'm wearing. Yeah, they basically gave him the most traumatic experience ever, like, starting off basically being in the family of rich people after his mom abandoned him, possibly leaving him to die, and also the things with his family doing to him, and he has to basically kill them as well. You know, he just couldn't take it anymore. I won't spoil exactly as to what really happened in the Zenless Zone Zero. I highly recommend you go check out the stories if you want to learn more about the characters here. But yeah, let's just say it got ugly, obviously. And he works alongside with Vivian, who is another character that I adore, but she's obviously too much of a fangirl, so we won't be discussing her in this series right there because we already know her reputation. And yeah, Hugo's voice performance is just stellar, and also his freaking music video is just top tier. Like, oh my goodness, we need more male fan service in this. Can we get more male fan service here? Women fan service are too overrated. We need males. Come on, get the hot boys in here. Hugo is definitely cool. I love his freaking voice. I just love his freaking design. I love this freaking skinny idiot. And, yeah, lovely work right there. Lovely work. Okay, so next up in the Zenless Zone Zero crushes list, we have here, of course, Monato. Another character I never expected to be gushing over here. Monato basically is, of course, one of, if not, the most, badass characters known to man here. His design, his voice, just, wow, just... Okay, yeah, so Monata over here is basically working alongside with Yuzaha, and basically they're like this group thing called the Spook Shock Club, I believe. And Monito over there displays himself to be this most menacing, intimidating bad boy that you may see across the street right here. But in actuality, he definitely is actually a very sweet boy, once you get to know him. Like, he may display himself to be this big, intimidating guy who you might be afraid of at first, but in actuality, he definitely is super casual, and most likely would like to get along with you, if, obviously, you actually see him the way he is. Yeah, Monito basically having a soft side is definitely super nice, and also the fact that he also has like a kind of like a brother and sister relationship with the two other characters. It's just really wholesome, and that animation with them all three together, it's just super cute too. I just love it. Like, oh my goodness gracious me, like they didn't have to literally just make this so cute, like seriously. And last but not least is, of course, the most recent one we've got here is Banyue. Banyue basically displays himself as the Shifu right here, who basically is kind of like the master, the teacher of some sort really, but now works alongside with the government after, well, a lot of stuff that I cannot spoil because it's just too good, obviously. And also, there are definitely some hidden parts of his past, like how he was once a killing machine to basically eliminate humankind, but he basically wants to change that for better uses. And that's really cool to see that he was once a weapon, but now he wants to turn himself into humane, and it's just really neat. Like, his animations, his combo moves, his attack moves are just really stellar, just really neat. And also his music video and his short episode is just really cool at the same time. Obviously, it's really neat, cool, just almost everything all about aura farming. Basically everything about Zenless Zone Zero is aura farming. Yeah, Banyue is definitely super big, but very gentle. And just like Lycon, I would love to respect him. I would love to be very respectful for the boy, be very comforted by the boy right here. I wouldn't want to go crazy. I just want to take little tiny steps. That's it. Yeah, so holy god. Yeah, those are all my Zenless Zone Zero crushes. And oh boy, it feels like we're already here forever in this matter here. Like, holy crap, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting here, just talking about my crushes for half an hour already, but I think we're almost done. Alrighty, people, get ready, because now it is time we go over the latest, the most powerful crush ever known to man. Somebody that I'm pretty sure you all probably expected, and some of you may not expect at all, but one of the most popular, one of the most recognizable of them all. And that would probably be Mr. Puzzles from SMG4. Yep, man, this here is my top tier crush I have had right there. The voice performance, the design, the charismatic characteristics of the man who changed everything in SMG4. Yeah, so when he was first introduced, I instantly fell in love with this man. This man displayed such profession of both villainy and anti-heuristics. Like, oh my goodness. Mr. Puzzles, whenever he comes on, is always the happiest for me. Like, when SMG4 always uploads, he comes around and that would basically make everyone smile because of how great of a villain he is and how great of a tragic hero or villain he could be too. Like, I just love everything about him, like how he's just displayed most of the time. And he can be pretty petty in most cases here. I just love him of how he's unserious, but also pretty threatening at the same time here. I just love my goofy little mastermind, obviously. Like, he's such a good boy in the end. Like, oh my goodness gracious me. And he also does have a pretty much of a tragic backstory about how he just wants to own a freaking carnival and also, like, you know, just make a TV show. But nobody even gives him a chance, not including his father. Like, give my boy a happy ending. Like, holy crap. So, yeah. And also his parts when he actually does have some good times, most notably Mr. Weapons unexpectedly becoming friends. It's just really nice seeing that little side of him, that when he actually does try to do something evil, something good happens because it was unexpected and supernatural. And yeah, I just really love to see that side of him, of how he basically became from a intimidating villain, which we all thought that he would just be a one-sided villain, to actually become a reoccurring character, and perhaps one of the most memorable ones of them all, and somebody that I actually grew attached to ever since then. So, yeah, everybody, that basically wraps up my list of fictional crushes, and yes, this was actually a lot of fun than I would have expected. And still is pretty embarrassing in so many cases, really. But it's a Valentine's Day video. I just decided I wanted to do something a little bit funny. And just something I wanted to, well, explain a little bit. So yeah, as you may know, I basically am a, fictional fangirl, obviously. With a bunch of fictional crushes that I have no doubt on saying out loud. And, yeah, just a funny little Valentine's Day video, and, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. So, if you all do have any fictional crushes of your own, I'd like to hear as to who you have a crush on, what type of media, of any video game, movie, etc., etc. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video, so thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, give it a like, subscribe to everything on Charles and me. And of course, happy Valentine's Day, everybody all around the world, where you get to spread some love and everything. So yep, better be going down. Bye guys! Yeah, bye!